Finally, Zinchenko medical is happening this week, and that means he's going to be unveiled this week. Remember, he was announced by the two transfer gurus yesterday. The deal is done and dusted. That is Fabrizio Romano and David Austin in there for you. Then we have an update about Tavares in there for you, why he doesn't want to go to Olympic Marseille, and Gabriel Jesus being praised out by one of the goalkeepers of Arsenal in there for you, and his qualities and attributes he really brings onto the field of play as far as Arsenal is concerned this season. Welcome to this channel, which goes by the names of Rokani Media Football. How are you guys? And where you're watching us from, I go by the names of RD. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to our channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Alright, so Zinchenko is going to be the next signing of Arsenal after Matt Turner, Gabriel Jesus, Marquinhos and Fabio Vieira, making it the 5th signing of Arsenal this season, and Arsenal broke the bank and they are going in for all the players we never expected them to go for in there for you. So Arsenal is really acting big into this market, and Zinchenko is one of those, and a medical has been confirmed of Zinchenko and where it's going to take place. And Fabrizio is telling us that this week he might join Arsenal because these two teams are in London. I told you they're in America. I told you yesterday that Arsenal is in America and Man City is in America in there for you. So let's see what Arsenal has for us today. Fabrizio Romano is going to tell us that Arsenal are already preparing official contracts and then schedule medical tests for Zinchenko. Deal in place for £30 million fee with Man City. Player accepted as he's happy to work with Mikel Arteta. City preparing to push for Cucurella in the coming days in the for you. Now, what people don't know about this is that after everything is done and agreed verbally, you have to submit in contracts for the player, such that his agent and his lawyers read through them. That's the process that this morning Zinchenko's deal was about, and then the medical is going to be undergone in the for you by the player in the for you. After the medical is gone and he's approved that passed the medical, guess what happens? They go ahead and resubmitting the money to Man City, and Man City signs an agreement with Arsenal that, all right, you have really gotten the money, and there you go in there for you. So that is a team which goes by names of Arsenal in there for you, doing business like never before in there for you, and they're bringing in Zinchenko at London Colney in there for you. And Fabrizio Romano, via the Court Offside podcast, he told us that the official announcement of Zinchenko's move to Arsenal will arrive this week. There is a £30 million ad on deal with Manchester City, and personal terms have not been agreed, and personal terms have been agreed have now been agreed as well. So it's said that the official announcement of Zinchenko, or Alexander Zinchenko, to Arsenal is going to be announced this week. Obviously, I told you when I was doing this deal, when it was really broken on Friday last week, that Arsenal are really chasing in for a man who goes by names of Zinchenko. When I really heard that Man City had given Arsenal green light to talk to the player and they will agree personal terms, I told you that by Wednesday, this deal will be announced. Here we go. Not a done deal by Arsenal or Arsenal announcing the player. I told you that either Fabrizio Romano or David Austin before Wednesday will come in and let us know that everything is done and dusted, because Arsenal is so quick at doing its business. They are so quick at doing their business, and that is something they've mastered in there for you. And they've gone ahead to go ahead and work on Alexander Zinchenko, and they're going to unveil him soon before this week ends, because I will believe that Mikel Arteta would like to see him play part into that game of Chelsea. They're going to play on Saturday because today is Tuesday. So 4 days from now, I think Zinchenko is fit. He'll train with Arsenal in there for you, and I know that when he comes in through at Arsenal, he's going to be really a very integral player, and he's going to be a player who adds lots of things to Arsenal, because he is even better than those that they have. You see, he's not a left back, but the little times he played as a left back at Man City, his stats were so much better than those of Kieran Tierney. When we look at Kieran Tierney, let me see, Kieran Tierney, how many assists do you put up last season? Kieran Tierney, let me first look at Kieran Tierney. When you look at Kieran Tierney in the Premier League, he played 22 games. You get? He scored 1 goal and 3 assists. You get? When you look at Zinchenko, in the Premier League, Zinchenko played 15 games. That means he played 15 games less than a man who goes by the names of Kieran Tierney, and he scored, and he just made 4 assists in the 4. So Tierney played 22 games. He had 4 goal involvements, 1 goal and 3 assists. Zinchenko, 15 games, 4 assists, no goal. So it shows you how good this lad is, that he played less games, but he is almost equating, or he equates to the number of goal involvements that a player who goes by names of Tierney really had. And in a player like Zinchenko, you don't need goals from him. Goals should come as a bonus. You just need him to go in and get you those assists, because when you're having a player like Gabriel Jesus, what you need is to have people who are really good at creating him chances at the side which goes by names of Arsenal. He needs that ball every time. I told you in that game of Everton that Arsenal played, I never saw this Gabriel Jesus guy being got onto the ball a lot. If you watch the game of Manchester United today, Anton Martial has been really brought onto the ball a lot. So what I believe is that we have to go on and really gate a centre forward on the ball a lot. Those forwards of Arsenal, because it's going to be Bukayo Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, and a player who goes by the names of Gabriel Jesus. Those 4. So the midfield needs to link them to the forwards. If that is done well, and the supply is going to be so much immense in there for you, then these players are going to get you goals as you want. So I really believe that for me, if at all I'm an Arsenal fan, I shouldn't expect lots of goals from Zinchenko, but a lot of first assists and secondary assists. That's what I'm really going to expect from Zinchenko in this game of football, because that's what he gets you. Don't expect lots of goals from him. Don't even expect that, but expect lots of assists and secondary assists from him, because he is really good at that in there for you as a player who has been playing under Pep Guardiola, technically gifted, and he's really great in there for you. Then again, Fabrizio Romano via the Court Offside podcast, he told us that Alexander Zinchenko only gave the green light to Arsenal because of Mikel Arteta, who is in love with the player. As with Gabriel Jesus, their relationship from working together at Man City was very strong, and it's been a big help in there for you. So having a manager like Mikel Arteta is a blessing to a team that has been struggling to get into shape, to go in and get in players like Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus. Kudos to Mikel Arteta. And I think the board knows that now they brought in the right manager. And whoever was in that board meeting and told them that, please, can we get in Mikel Arteta? And I really believe that it was Edu. Because Edu looked like he was following at Mikel Arteta, and he was really reading reports coming in from the Man City coaching side, and they were saying, right, all right, let's get in a man who goes by the names of Mikel Arteta to come in and coach us. So we saw Edu and is it Stanley Kroenke go to the home of Mikel Arteta way back in 2000. I think it was in December. That's when they approached him, and then they appointed him in, it was December 2019, and they appointed him in January of 2020. That's when he became the permanent manager of Arsenal in there for you. So I think he's really done a very great job, and he has really attracted very many players. And I'm telling you, the player he's really working on to bring in at Arsenal goes by names of Leroy Sen. Leroy Sen is on the verge of being convinced by Mikel Arteta to join Arsenal. So Mikel Arteta is really doing a very good job, and because of the project he has built at Arsenal, it's easy to go on and explain to the player that I'm bringing you at Arsenal, and I'm going to make you play A, B, C, D in such and such a position in there for you. So that's why Zinchenko also has managed to go in and decide to go in and really sign for Arsenal. I gave you a story yesterday that very many teams have been looking in for Zinchenko, and they wanted him to leave Man City because he was not getting enough playing time, but he said no. But when Arsenal came in through, he said yes, because he believes in Mikel Arteta. They're having a very good relationship in there together, and he knows that Mikel Arteta is that man that is going to add lots to his game in there for you. Then Zinchenko will leave Man City's camp later today in order to join Arsenal and complete his medical. Zinchenko's medical will take place this week. You've heard it from the man himself, Fabrizio Romano, the transfer guru of this planet. Him and David Austin and DiMarzio are just on point always. They always strike when it's the right time, and they get out the story that is happening. Just trust me, it happens in there for you. He has told us that Alexander Zinchenko could leave Man City's camp later today in order to join Arsenal and complete his medical in there for you. Obviously, right now, there is nothing Zinchenko is doing in the camp of a team which goes by the names of Man City. Of a match, I saw him in the photos training in there for you. But the fact is that everything is done and dusted. He has to leave Man City head to where Arsenal is in America, undergo his medical, and Arsenal are really going to announce him in there for you as soon as possible. The reason that's why they really went in for him, he was their second choice player after Lisandro Martinez, but they said, let's go in and bring in him. But Lisandro Martinez is far much better than him, because for him he plays as a centre back and a left back and a central midfield. But Alexander Zinchenko plays as a left back, plays in the central midfield. He can play on either flanks, the left and right flanks of the attacking midfield. He can play there very well. But Arsenal wanted so much Lisandro Martinez because they really believe that when Gabriel Magalhaes is away or injured, they really feel like there's going to be a very big gap in there for you, and that's why they wanted him in. But finally, they've got in Zinchenko, and Zinchenko is expected to undergo his medical this week. And Fabrizio is saying that even today, Zinchenko might leave the camp of Man City to go in and really go his medical at Arsenal, and Arsenal will announce him as their player at a side which goes by the name of America, where they are right now in the face. So that's what Fabrizio had to tell us about Zinchenko, that he could leave Man City camp later today, and I know it's going to happen today because when he comes out and says it, it happens. So you'll hear that he's undergoing a medical in America, because Arsenal traveled with its entire medical team, because there is no reason as to why it stays at London Conley, yet the players that they really treat, you get, when they are really injured are in America. So they have to travel with their A team of medicals, and I know they are really going to go out in an hospital that affiliates to London Conley or Arsenal, and then they are going to go on and carry out those tests, and then they will announce him as an Arsenal player. You can as well go to the comment section and tell me which shirt number do you think Zinchenko is going to put on, because we don't know, but you might be having a clue on which shirt numbers at Arsenal you think are really not utilized or not being worn in there for you. So that's Zinchenko either for you. Smash the like button, comment and share. And now let's get to a man who goes by names of Aaron Ramsdale. Aaron Ramsdale is the goalkeeper of Arsenal. They bought him from Sheffield. That was last summer. He came in and really played in here. Is it Sheffield, Bournemouth? One of those two in there for you. But I think it was Bournemouth. Then they brought him on, and he is really one of those players that really made lots of saves and kept lots of clean sheets in the Premier League last season. Then he had to say this about Gabriel Jesus. He said he's got amazing talent and he also knows how to win. He's not going to change everything at the club in terms of winning things, but if we can take 1% out of his mentality and how he plays, it's only going to benefit us. You see, these are comments that really describe that the coming in of Gabriel Jesus is a breath of fresh air at Arsenal. Last season, you saw Arsenal really trying to build up and really create chances there for you, but they couldn't really get in the goal area. I saw very many games, even before Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang left, when chances were being created and it was wasting them. And a team like Arsenal with a thin squad, you want your team to kill. You want your team to kill off the game early enough, because when you kill off the game early enough, you don't need to use a lot of energy to win that game. And Arsenal really had multiple chances created, and they couldn't even go ahead and really convert them because of Lacazette, Aubameyang, those who didn't go in and really convert those chances to where they're supposed to be in. But right now, when you have Gabriel Jesus and what every player is talking about him, he is really giving them lots of hopes. And the signing of Gabriel Jesus is being used as a transfer bait by Mikel Arteta and Edu to convince other players to come in and play for Arsenal. Just know that that's how everything is going to happen either for you, that they're using it as a transfer bait. That's it. They're using it as a transfer bait because they'll tell Zinchenko, you see, Gabriel Jesus is here. Why don't you come and join him? So because Gabriel Jesus is one of the rated center forwards in the world, everyone says, oh, if Gabriel Jesus can go to Arsenal, why not me? So they are using it as a transfer bait, and it's working out for them. And I know they're going to bring in more and more players at Arsenal either for you, because Gabriel Jesus is here and he's coming. He's really going to attract very many players to come in at Arsenal. That's why it was their fourth signing of the season, and it's really working out for them. And it came in early enough because they announced him in June, that everything is done and dusted, and they unveiled him in June, and then they flew with him to Germany, where he has really gone ahead to play a game against Nuremberg, only 45 minutes, and he scored 2 goals in just 45 minutes. That is Gabriel Jesus in there for you. And I really believe that his winning mentality is not questioned because he has been at a team that winning has always been called for, that has always been called for every game. At Man City, every game was meant to be won by the players. And that's what Pep Guardiola called for. And in the conversations he's having with his players at Arsenal, he's telling them that we are a winning team, we are winning mentality, and we are here to go ahead and win. We are not here to joke. That is Gabriel Jesus for you, and the kind of breath air is bringing in at the side which goes by the name Arsenal, being hailed by a player who goes by the names of Aaron Ramsdale in there for you, who is really doing great. And they said one thing, that if at all they can get just 1% out of his mentality, that means the team would have really upped its levels to the next step in there for you. And there is something he has said about that Gabriel Jesus is not going to change everything at the club, but in terms of winning things in there for you. But if at all they can really get just 1% of his winning mentality, which shows you that his winning mentality is immense. He's a believer. He knows that he can go ahead and really make juice out of a stone. That's how much Gabriel Jesus is a believer that Arsenal is going to come in here and really win because he's having him. And obviously, when you're having a centre forward who can get you 30 goals a season, of which I know he's going to get Arsenal 30 goals in his maiden season because he's being played as a centre forward. Obviously, you are really destined to win. That's it. You are destined to win. What wins games? Goals and clean sheets. Arsenal kept how many clean sheets last season? 13. Why did they lose out on the top 4? Because they never brought in a striker. Whom have they brought in this season? A striker known as Gabriel Jesus. He's known as one of the strikers in the Premier League who is really proven, isn't it? Yes. So you now know what I'm talking about, that a proven striker has come in the Premier League and is ready to take on the mantle and really take on Arsenal to where they're supposed to be. And when you have a player who scores in those goals, it's easy to go ahead and really compete. If Arsenal can have a player who can really give them 20, 25 goals in the Premier League, then everything is going to be very much okay. Why? Look at Leicester City. In 2016, Jamie Vardy scored close to 26 Premier League goals and they won the trophy. I tell you this, no team can have a player, who can score them 25 Premier League goals, and that team won't go to the top 4 of the Premier League because those goals mean a lot. Others will come in through and really add on more, but those of a player like Gabriel Jesus will mean a lot at Arsenal in that way. They're going to be the difference of Arsenal qualifying for the Champions League next season and Arsenal for not qualifying for the Champions League last season. And he's a big game winner. So I will believe that Ramsdale was 100% on point, that this guy is really one of a kind. Then from the Mirror, they've told us that Nuno Tavares will reportedly reject a loan move to Marseille this summer, with Arsenal keen to move the defender on before the end of the transfer window. So it looks like Tavares wants a different move altogether. Maybe him and his agent don't believe in Marseille, and they believe that it's not the best way to go ahead and really let him go play in France. And where we believe that there is a role of Nuno Tavares, he can play in Premier League teams. I think it's better to loan him in Premier League teams such that he becomes Premier League proven. 100% believe that one day, one time, Arsenal is going to part ways with Kientieni. Either because there is a team that has come in to put money on the table of Arsenal, or because Mikel Arteta will be fed up of him because of his rate at which he is really getting injuries in there. He was injured, you know that very well. He underwent an operation towards the end of the season. I think around 15th May, he came back on the grass. He tried to train. He went and played some games. I think it was part of the Scotland team that played into that World Cup qualifier where they were beaten. Then he went ahead to return to training. And guess what? Returning from training, he played just one game and he played 30 minutes in the game of Nuremberg. And ever since then, he's injured. So how can you trust such a player? That's why we believe that Arsenal needs Nuno Tavares. And if at all Mikel Arteta or his agent, it's better to take him to a Premier League side. And I know they can get him a Premier League side that can really get him a place to play as a left back in the Premier League. So to me, I really believe that they should really allow him make his own choice, because him and his agent are really so much ready to see to it that they really take the player where he wants to be in there for you. So Tavares is saying no to move to Marseille, and Marseille have already signed in a right back who goes by the names of Jonathan Klaus, and they might be going in for a left back in there for you. So guys, thank you very much for watching in. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do uploading on a daily. I go by the names of Rokani David. Rokani Media Football is the channel, and let me know what you think about these stories. Zinchenko's medical, Zinchenko's medical, Gabriel Jesus hailed by Ramasdale, Tavares saying no to a loan to a side which goes by the names of Olympic Marseille, and lastly, that is about Arteta in there for you, convincing these players to join a side which goes by the names of Arsenal. I sign out for now. See you later. And I know we are really going for a marathon. This is our second video of the day. Hope you guys are really loving the content we are giving you onto this channel. I'm out.